Last time, my creepy cuties, we discovered that fireflies are not flies at all. They're beetles with a language made of light. Some flash for love, some glow as a warning, some synchronize until an entire forest seems alive. And one particularly wicked little lady can imitate another firefly's love signal and eat the poor gentleman who answers. But our grandmothers didn't need to understand bioluminescence to know there was something extraordinary about a summer night filled with tiny lights. Because wherever fireflies appeared, people gave them stories. So let's open the book of Granny Magic once more and follow those little lanterns around the world. In Japan, fireflies are called hotaru. For centuries, people have gone out on warm, early summer evenings specifically to watch them, a seasonal tradition often called hotaru gari. Fireflies also found their way into Japanese poetry and literature. A tiny light appearing briefly in the darkness became a beautiful symbol for things humans have always struggled to hold on to. Love, longing, summer, memory, life itself. A firefly glows brilliantly, then disappears. And perhaps that is exactly why people found so much meaning in it. Fireflies also became connected in parts of Japanese cultural imagination with mortality and spirits. Although those meanings changed with time and context, they were never simply one universal symbol. And that matters. Because Granny Magic isn't about collecting every beautiful story on the internet and pretending everybody's grandmother believed it. It's about remembering traditions without flattening their meaning. China gave the firefly another kind of story. One famous traditional tale tells of a poor scholar named Che Yin, who supposedly gathered fireflies so he could continue studying at night when his family couldn't afford enough lamp oil. Now, whether a bag of lightning bugs would actually get you through an entire book is questionable. But that isn't why generations remembered the story. The lesson was perseverance. If you don't have the lamp you need, you find whatever light you can. And the image of a student refusing to let darkness stop him survived for centuries. Across Europe, luminous beetles were often called glowworms. But despite the name, they aren't worms. Imagine encountering one beneath a hedge hundreds of years ago. No streetlights, no headlights, no electric glow from a town nearby. Something simply shines from the grass. Nobody is carrying a lantern. Nobody struck a match. The earth itself seems to have produced a star. Of course, people told stories. Humans have always done that. When nature gives us something strange enough, we give it a name. Then we give it a story. And here in America, especially throughout much of the South and Appalachia, many families gave those lights another name. Lightning bugs, firefly, lightning bug, glowworm. Different names for little creatures carrying their own light. One person looked at that flash and thought of fire. Another thought of lightning. Either way, something magical was happening in Grandma's yard. For rural families, lightning bugs also became part of summer's calendar. You didn't need a phone to tell you the season had changed. You watched the garden, you listened to the frogs, you noticed the evening air. And when those little lights began floating above the grass, summer had announced itself. There are plenty of old sayings claiming fireflies predicted rain, heat, storms, or other weather. Some probably grew from genuine observations of insects responding to temperature, moisture, and seasonal conditions. Others were local beliefs, and some were simply repeated for so long that nobody remembers where they started. I'm not going to tell you Grandma could forecast Tuesday's thunderstorm by counting lightning bugs, but I will tell you something our grandparents were often very good at: paying attention. And then came the childhood ritual so many of us remember. The mason jar, a little grass inside, a lid with holes punched through it, and several lightning bugs blinking away. For a child, it felt like making your own lantern, but this is one old tradition I'd change just a little. Catch them gently if you must, admire them, and then let them go, because those tiny summer lanterns need a little help from us now. Fireflies face different pressures depending on the species and location, including habitat loss, pesticides, artificial light at night, water quality problems, and changes in climate. Artificial light creates an especially heartbreaking problem. Imagine spending millions of years evolving a language made entirely of light, only for humans to brighten the night so much that nobody can see you talking. So perhaps we need a little modern granny magic. Turn off unnecessary outdoor lights. Leave part of the yard a little wild. Keep native vegetation where you can. Let some leaves remain. Preserve damp areas and natural shelter. Avoid unnecessary pesticides. And don't mow every inch of the world into submission. Sometimes helping magic survive looks suspiciously like leaving it alone. And perhaps that matters because something else has changed too. We spend so much time trying to capture beautiful things now. Picture, video, post, save, share. But our grandparents lived through countless evenings that were never recorded. A porch creaked. The air smelled like grass. A screen door slammed. Cicadas hummed somewhere in the trees. Somebody you loved sat beside you, and lightning bugs drifted over the yard. Nobody filmed it. Nobody posted it. Nobody knew that ordinary summer evening might someday become one of the memories they missed most. And yet, 50 years later, some people can still close their eyes and see those lights. Maybe that's why fireflies feel like granny magic to me. Their beauty requires something we've become increasingly uncomfortable with. Darkness. You cannot appreciate their little lanterns beneath the brightest floodlight. You have to let some darkness remain. You wait. Your eyes adjust. And then, blink. There it is. A tiny light you couldn't see before. Maybe life works that way sometimes too. Not every dark moment has to be flooded with light immediately. Sometimes you sit quietly, listen, wait, and eventually, something small begins glowing, and remember what we learned in part 1. The firefly we admire for a few summer evenings may have spent months or even years living quietly where nobody noticed it, under leaves, in damp soil, among roots and fallen wood, growing, hunting, changing, waiting. Then, when its season finally arrives, it makes its own light. That may be my favorite piece of granny magic yet. We notice people when they shine. We rarely know how long they lived in the darkness becoming who they are. Our grandmothers didn't need to know the word bioluminescence to understand that a summer night filled with lightning bugs was worth stopping for. They taught us something simply by sitting on the porch and noticing. Notice when summer arrives. Notice what lives beneath your feet. Notice the darkness instead of fearing every inch of it. Hold beautiful things gently. And when something wild trusts you enough to land in your hands, know when to let it go. Different countries, different languages, different grandmothers. Yet wherever these little lanterns appeared, people looked into the darkness and found something worth remembering. Some saw love. Some saw perseverance. Some saw the fleeting beauty of summer. Some told stories about spirits and mysterious lights. Some simply remembered running barefoot through Grandma's yard with a mason jar. And perhaps all those memories explain why this tiny beetle became something much larger in our imagination. Because a firefly doesn't defeat the darkness. It doesn't even try. It simply carries enough light to be seen within it. So the next time you see one blinking over the grass, don't hurry past. Turn off the porch light. Sit down for a minute. Watch. Wait. Because somewhere out there in the darkness, another little lantern may be answering. And so, my creepy cuties, we close another page from the old book of Granny Magic. Until next time, keep a little magic in your home, a little mystery in your heart, and leave a little darkness in the night for the tiny lanterns that still know how to shine.